What's up, fellas? The purpose of this video today is to take a look at some players that are available in free agency and waivers that might make sense for you to add to your team in the league, given what your needs are. Um, I feel like yesterday, when I was looking at teams, like I saw some guys or some teams that were lacking in certain areas, and maybe whether that's pitching or whatnot, or certain positions. Um, and while I might not be picking up these players for one reason or another, that doesn't mean that they should be sitting out there from my perspective. So with that said, I wanted to run into some of these players. You can actually see I was cheating. There was a guy that actually just got dropped today that I think would be a really good ad for somebody. That's Heimer Candelario. Heimer Candelario has had good StatCast results now for a couple of years. He kind of fits the mold of a solid player for our scoring method, given the on base and slugging. If you look here, he's been kind of upper in the league in X weighted on base and slugging. I think he's definitely worth a third base roster spot, given the how thin that position is this year. Third base and second base pretty thin. A guy, and just a reason why he wouldn't be on my team, I have Donaldson in a utility right now to back up Torkelson, so he just wouldn't make sense for me. But that being said, I think it would make sense for someone else if they're lacking at third base. Okay, someone else that I was looking at. If you go to starters, there he is, Luis Gil. I know that he's opening the season in AAA, but he had a good last couple outings last year in New York. I'm already sacks packed of pitching, right? But there's a lot of teams in this league that aren't, and he's sure to see time in the majors this year. Just given how injury prone that Yankees rotation is with my friend Luis Severino and Jordan Montgomery. Oh, it's just like this guy's going to be getting time this year, so I think he's worth an ad. Someone else too is Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin, I think, should have been drafted. I don't really know why he wasn't drafted. Like he's not one of those guys that's going to be the top of your rotation, right? But at the same time, and let's take a look here. Maybe this is going to make me look stupid, but I don't think it will. I think he's going to have pretty middling StatCast results, which is okay. I mean, that's okay for what you want on your team, right? Yeah, like xERA, 61st percentile. He doesn't walk anybody, right? Middling K rate. But in this league where pitching, you want to have a ton of it, this is the kind of guy that would make sense to be rostering, right? Just someone to consider. What else do we have here? Taijuan Walker, I think, is another good one to roster. If you don't have a ton of pitching right now, I think that another one that's kind of middle of the road guy. Taijuan might actually be making me look silly here, but I think you're gonna okay. Not great peripherals, 4.6, strikes some guys out, but not anything special. But man, like this is what I'm talking about though. With so much roster burn going on in the batter side of things, who will get you no points, why not add Taijuan Walker as a pitcher, and what he's going to be pitching against the Nationals and the Pirates and the fucking Reds and all these shitty teams all the time, that like maybe you can spot start him against those teams, right? If you see, oh, he's got a couple series coming up against some really crappy teams, it's probably going to be worth picking him up because he's going to get you points those weeks, right? He's not going to get shelled by the fucking Nats, right? Unless Juan Soto's putting up all the points for him. So, I don't know, just another guy that I think should probably be on a roster given the lack of pitching I'm seeing around the league. Another one is Merrill Kelly. I think Merrill Kelly is going to keep getting better as well. I'm not a big K guy, but I think we're going to see a guy that's in a similar boat to Taijuan Walker. Like, it's just middle, back of the rotation kind of guy, but at the same time, like, that's okay to have on your fantasy team against certain matchups, right? 4.48 xERA, doesn't really strike anyone, but isn't really walking anyone either. these are the kind of players that you want to have to start again. Like if you see that they're coming up against some pretty bad teams on their schedule, why not have him on your roster, right? Why not do that? Because he's going to get you points while someone roster burning in a hitter slot is just not going to get you any points ever because you're never going to start him. Let's take a look back at hitters. Not a whole lot here, honestly, for hitters. I feel like the league did a pretty good job of getting all of the really rosterable hitters. Besides, I think Candelario is a good one. Brandon Nimmo's frustrating because I love his approach, right? I love the kind of hitter he is, but he just lost all power. Like, I don't know what the hell happened to this guy. Yeah, great ex-WOBA, great expected batting average, like can run, can do a lot, but simply can't slug the ball. Like 393. I mean, it's hard for me to stomach that on my roster, right? I'm not going to be able to do that, but he's a guy. I mean, outfield not great. Like, it's not great that he's only has outfield eligibility for a guy that's not going to slug, right? When there's so many outfielders that can. But he is a guy that, if for whatever reason you're one of the teams that doesn't have a lot of roster burn and you do want someone that's going to slot into your outfield on off days for other guys or what have you, because you're going to have 3 of those spots, maybe he's an outfielder you do add. I don't know. I don't know. I think a more likely guy that I'd want to add, and I shouldn't even be telling you this, is Alek Thomas. Like, I drafted Alek Thomas. I think Alek Thomas is going to be fucking good. But he doesn't have a spot in my roster right now because I mean I'm packed with outfielders already, and I have 2 guys on my bench, both outfielders, right? It's just it wouldn't make sense for me. But if you're a team that already isn't roster burning a lot of guys, and you could afford to have a prospect on your bench, which I think is better than having a guy on your bench that you'll never use. I think maybe that makes sense too. I love my team. Okay. Well, those are the first few guys that I see ahead of the draft here that are available that I think are worth rostering. All right, good luck, fellas.